Hi everyone. Welcome to Turkish series stars. All the details are in our video, and before we dive in, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars and share this video so you never miss a moment. Thank you for being here. Now, let's get into the story everyone is talking about. Yesterday afternoon, two of Istanbul's most magnetic names, Hazal Kaya and Çağatay Ulusoy, were spotted stepping into a real estate office in the quiet streets of Secretive. The moment they appeared at the doorway, whispers kicked up like a sudden breeze. Was this about a new joint project, or were we looking at the next chapter in something far more personal? Eyewitnesses inside that office say they stayed for a while, speaking at length with the agent, discussing floor plans and neighborhoods as if they already knew exactly what they wanted, and exactly what they didn't. Their visit wasn't some stiff, formal appointment. There were laughs that drifted through the hall and moments of concentration that softened into silence as they studied the listings. What really fed the rumor mill was their focus on standalone houses with generous gardens and lots of privacy, homes that don't just look beautiful from the gate, but feel like they're guarding a world of their own. The unspoken suggestion? A life together, where weekends start with breakfast in the sun and end without the press peeking over the fence. Those who observed the meeting noticed how naturally their instincts split into complementary roles. Hazal gravitated toward the heart of the home, lingering over the kitchen layout, traceable paths through the living room, the light that hits the dining table at dusk. She talked textures and tones, how a room can hold a conversation even when no one's speaking. She offered little ideas about decor, warm wood here, a soft velvet chair there, art that feels like it has a memory. Meanwhile, Çağatay kept a steady eye on the bones of each place, the integrity of the structure, the quality of the security systems, how close the property sits to the road and what's beyond the garden wall. He asked about drainage and winter winds, about school zones and the sound of traffic at night. Put together, their approach felt less like two stars wandering through a casual meeting and more like two people quietly sketching a life. Whispers have been circulating for a while now. That they've been close, that they make time for each other whenever their calendars loosen their grip, that their dynamic is softer offset than people imagine. But you won't hear either of them confirm or deny it. Their silence has become a language of its own, fuel for every forum and headline. And yesterday added oxygen to that fire. As they left the real estate agency and noticed the cameras, Hazal let a small smile rise and fall, and that was that. No quick wave, no pointed glare. Just a calm acknowledgement, like she's learned to float above the noise. As for Çağatay, he handled the questions with careful warmth. "Let's keep this between us for now," he said, voice even, neither dismissing nor inviting speculation. That single line zipped through social media in minutes, rewritten, dissected, and turned into 1,000 captions. Fans loved the restraint, and yet it left everyone wanting more. All day, timelines filled with photos and threads. Some viewers were hopeful for a joint production, certain that two talents like theirs couldn't resist sharing the screen again. Others read the moment differently. Maybe it's not just a project, they said. Maybe it's a story without scripts or trailers, one that starts behind a gate in a garden, where nobody's looking for the perfect angle. Officially, they've said nothing more. No joint posts. No carefully worded statements. Just the memory of that visit in Secretive, and a warmth between them you can't fake for a camera. It may be a while before the tabloids let this go, if they ever do. After the agency, they took a slow walk through the calm streets. They didn't hold hands or walk shoulder to shoulder, but there was a cadence to their pace that made them look like they'd been walking together forever. Now and then, passers-by caught a smile, brief, spontaneous, surprised. As if even they didn't expect to be recognized in such a quiet corner of the city. They stopped at a small cafe with soft music drifting from inside, ordered coffee, and took a table by the window. What looked like a simple break became a continuation of the conversation they started at the office. Over steaming cups, they leaned in close to talk about home, not just houses. About how an entrance invites you in, how morning light can make a narrow hallway feel generous, how a living room should hold both company and silence. According to people who were there, Hazal shared thoughts on open shelves and hidden storage, on tiles that age well, on fabrics that don't mind a little life. And Çağatay listened keen, jotting down details on his phone, asking questions that showed he'd heard every word. He brought up smart systems and safety perimeters, the way the garden faces, where late sun lingers. It wasn't flirtation in the glossy magazine sense. It was collaboration, grounded and careful, like they were mapping something fragile and important. Images from the cafe started showing up online before the sugar dissolved in their cups. Their glances across the table turned into a reel that ran on loop. Did you see this? Did you notice that? Look at their faces when the subject turns serious. The refrain was everywhere, they're building something. The more cautious voices said it too, if it's not a project, it's a plan. And the longer they stayed quiet, the louder those voices got. By late afternoon, people were waiting for a joint post that never came. Their silence felt strategic to some, protective to others. If anything, it signaled a boundary, an invisible line around the parts of their lives they won't trade for applause. That restraint fueled even more speculation. If there was nothing to the rumors, wouldn't they have denied them by now? Or was this careful pause a way of keeping their future from turning into a hashtag before it ever becomes a reality? The images of Hazal and Çağatay house hunting in Secretive created the kind of stir that doesn't fade by morning. For many, those pictures looked like a preface to something new, a step, cautious but real, toward a life that doesn't need a premiere date. And yet, even as the internet tried to write the next chapter, they chose to keep the pen in their own hands. They didn't disappear after the cafe. They wandered under trees just beginning to lean toward autumn, talking with an ease that seemed to rest in their shoulders. Every now and then, they drew a little closer, like they'd forget for a second that Istanbul was watching. It wasn't a performance, it was two people sharing a small, stolen pause in the kind of day that becomes a headline. Those who saw them were surprised by how quiet the moment felt. At another stop, their table held printed plans and sketches. Hazal traced lines with her finger, then sat back to see the flow of one room into the next. She mentioned where a bookshelf could anchor a wall, how a low lamp could turn a corner into a refuge, how a kitchen island could pull friends into its orbit. When the coffees arrived, whatever tension had trailed behind them let go. You could see it in their posture, the way their thoughts unfolded without hurry. Their talk wandered beyond square meters. They spoke like people do when they're deciding how to share their days, about how a place should hold work and rest, noise and quiet, a door that closes the world out without shutting life in. They weren't just shopping. They were imagining. The city kept watch, of course. Phones rose discreetly, a shutter here and there, and by evening a headline was circling. Hazal and Çağatay show signs of a relationship. The images were soft, almost domestic in feeling. Not grand gestures, not staged flashes, just two people leaning toward each other as if that's where they've always found their balance. They drifted to a nearby park later, almost as if the day needed a breath of open space. They paused near children playing tag, near dogs tugging at leashes and laughing owners apologizing to anyone who'd listen. Hazal crouched to greet a golden retriever that had decided she must be its new best friend. The way she lit up, the way the dog's tail went wild, it felt unscripted, exactly the kind of moment that makes fans say, yes, that's who she is. And when a small child skittered too close to a puddle, she held out a hand and guided them around it with a gentle laugh. Çağatay watched, smiling, then chatted with an older couple about the best walking routes for a quiet evening. They looked less like celebrities and more like neighbors trying on the rhythm of the place. As dusk leaned in, they stopped by a shop, browsed a few things, then headed toward their car. That last look they shared before the door closed, quick, private, full of something steady, told a story all its own. They didn't call out to the cameras. They didn't set the record straight. Their smiles said enough. Some things matter more when they're not performed. Make no mistake. These images aren't going anywhere. People will keep zooming, rewatching, speculating. Insiders will claim to have heard the next step, and fans will keep refreshing for a post that may never come. But if yesterday was the overture, it was scored with intention. Every choice hinted at a deeper commitment to something real, and to protecting it. What began as a simple sighting at a real estate agency unfolded into a day that felt like a preview of a private life. The homes with gardens, the conversations that kept circling back to how a space should feel, the care with which they moved through the city without turning the city into their stage, all of it added up to a quiet confession. Maybe this is the beginning. Maybe it's already begun. For now, they seem determined to let the story breathe on its own. The more breathless the media becomes, the more measured they appear. And that's what's keeping the fascination alive. They don't deny the chemistry, but they don't sell it either. If they are stepping towards something together, it looks like they're doing it the way you build a good home, thoughtfully, deliberately, one considered decision at a time. We'll be watching, just like everyone else. Not to intrude, but to notice the little signs that say more than announcements ever could: another coffee in a quiet place, another walk under trees, another set of plans laid out on a table between them. Whether it's a project, a partnership, or a private promise, yesterday made one thing clear: Hazal Kaya and Çağatay Ulusoy know exactly how to keep the world curious. That's all for today's coverage from Turkish series stars. If you enjoyed the story and want to keep up with every twist, don't forget to subscribe to Turkish series stars and share this video with friends who follow Hazal and Çağatay. Until next time, we'll be here, keeping our eyes on the moments that matter and the whispers that might become a future we'll all talk about.